All right, guys, what's going on? We're back. It's another Monday. That means part of our new series that we're throwing out every week, the Who Dat series. Talking about different players that are new to the team that you or your friends or your family might not know about, and what they could be, and who they've been, and where they've come from. Just basically familiarizing yourself with the roster from the bottom to the top. Last week was Micah Bowens. If you didn't see it, go back, take a look, get to know him a little bit. The third string quarterback. But this week we've got Key Lawrence, the safety, recently transferred from Tennessee. Um, he, you know, he's just physical. I mean, he's a 6'2", 200+ pound safety. He's from Innsworth High School in Nashville, Tennessee. Like I said, he originally committed to Tennessee, and after their whole scandal, he got released and was able to do this one-time transfer, and he transferred here to Oklahoma this past off season. In high school, very versatile guy. He played offense, defense, and special teams. Just a true athlete, and just some of his stats in his career. He had 903 rushing yards, 335 receiving yards, and a total of 19 touchdowns. Just an all-around, just great offensive player. And then as far as his defensive skills, he had 54 total tackles and 5 tackles for loss. Um, so that's kind of a little bit of a background with him. Another thing was we offered him initially out of high school. He visited us. He had all the big time offers coming out of high school with us, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, any big school, you name it, he's got an offer. I think like a total of 23 offers that were noted. I'm sure he had a few more that were small schools that just didn't get recorded. So, with that being explained and kind of just a little bit of a background, Jose, what's your takeaway about him?
This guy is a physical beast. I think we can expect him to be probably with the defense that we run, going to be very much like a Jamal Adams, Buda Baker kind of guy. If you're familiar with professional football, these guys are safeties, but their main job is to stay in the box and make sure no one gets past them on a run game and keep passes short. Any screen plays, anything like that, they're going to go make the tackle. From what I saw in his highlights and read a little bit about him, he's explained to have good ball skills, but I didn't see anything that really like popped out in regards to like some pick play or something crazy. I know on his 247 profile, the scouting report said that his man-to-man coverage isn't too great, so I definitely expect him to be developing that with Grinch. But he probably, when he plays in pass sets, he'll probably be in the back, making sure nothing gets over top of him. But we'll probably see him a lot more in the box, making sure that he's able to stop the run alongside with Benito, Winfrey, all of our defensive line. He's going to be up there with him, making sure that he's hitting them hard and making sure that the offense knows that he's there.
Yeah, and another thing was with the spring game. Pat Fields wasn't playing in that because of, I think, some injuries that he's been nagging, and he got quite a few snaps at the safety spot, and he looked pretty good. I mean, granted, you kind of have to take a spring game with a grain of salt, but he made some plays, he made some tackles, he made a few pass breakups, and he just looked really solid. And we've really needed that length. I mean, a 6'1", 6'2", depending on what website you look at. I think on the Sooners roster, I think he's listed at 6'1". But finally having some length to play against some taller receivers in the Big 12 and someone that can deliver a hit. I mean, I think we're starting to see a change. And I think this is what Grinch, I think he's like the guy, type of physical athlete that Grinch has been wanting and has been recruiting. He had a whole year at Tennessee with their training program, so I'm sure he put on some weight there and beefed up a little bit, so he didn't come straight out of high school. But I really think he could be a day one contributor. Grinch, especially on the defensive backfield, it's going to be a heavy rotation with a bunch of younger guys with Key and Pat Fields and Cradell at the nickel. Then you've got, was it not Norwood? I was going to say Woody Washington in the corner spot with Broyles and Jaden Davis. I mean, I really think all those guys are going to be on a rotation where if you're not doing well, if you're not performing, and you're getting beat, you're going to get pulled. And they've got someone just as good as you, if not better, sitting on the bench and waiting for their turn and playing a handful, a couple drives here, a couple drives there. I really think he's going to be a part of that rotation and very well may start by the time we get to this fall, at some point during the season. And worst comes to worst, great depth, and will probably be a starter once Pat Fields leaves. It's going to be interesting to see what they're planning for him.
Definitely. And I wonder if Grinch would ever consider having him move into the linebacker spot. With the depth that you just went over, at the DB position, and we've got a lot more talent coming in from recruiting. He's a big enough human that slotting him in at linebacker, he might become, Kenneth Murray 2.0. That guy, he's fast, big athlete. He's able to move, and if he can cover the running backs out of the backfield on pass plays, I don't see why he wouldn't be physically able to at least get down there with the boys in the box.
Yeah, they might have to beef him up a little bit, 30 pounds maybe, but I mean, it's possible, with all the talent. But I'm sure this year they're going to try to see if he'll emerge in the defensive backfield. But like you said, if we get so much talent and he can't see the field, there's probably a decent chance that they're going to move him around. Like David Owegbu, who was, just a traditional linebacker and then was moved to the outside position and more of a rushing end. I mean, he's been playing well, obviously with Benino in them, but it's there's just a lot of talent, and I think he brings another element of physicality that we've been lacking, and it's exciting to see. So
for sure, it's going to be a fun season for Oklahoma football, and I think more than likely we won't really know who our starters are going to be really on either side of the ball until probably week 4 when we start Big 12 play. Those first few games are going to be a lot of rotation. Let's see who's ready to step up to the spotlight and take over the position that they want or that the coaches need to fill in. And we'll see how it goes for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, just his physical stature and his play in high school, I really think he's going to be a 2 or 3 year starter and he's going to go to the league. I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't. And if he doesn't, it's his own fault, most likely. Barring some injuries, he should be in the NFL in the next couple of years.
For sure. We're going to start seeing, I think next year is going to be the first year that we're going to start seeing a lot of OU talent come in, come out, leave Oklahoma and go into the NFL draft as highly not recruited, but sought after prospects for the NFL. I know Nick Benito, if he does, I don't know if it's a senior year or if it's his last year of eligibility, but if he has to leave, then he'll probably be a first round prospect as long as the season goes well and, barring any injuries. But if he does have another year of eligibility and he decides to forego it, he'll be a very good talent that people are going to want to watch out for in the NFL as an edge rusher.
And that should help with our recruiting down the road. I mean, obviously K9 was a first round pick, but we start pumping out defensive talent in the NFL, it's going to go a long way.
Oh yeah. We're definitely going to start seeing all these guys come back to OU and for all these recruiting events and show high school, 18, 19-year-old kids what it's like to be part of the OU family.
Yep. So, well, that's all I've got on Key. Just keep your eye out. I think he's going to be a big-time contributor for us this fall. But other than that, Jose, you have anything else?
Nope. Just as always, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Like Brumbaugh said at the beginning, this is going to be weekly and at least until the beginning of the football season, maybe even further if we can't get through all these young guys. But make sure to tune in every week, Thursday, Monday, Who Dat's Monday, and so that you can learn a little bit more about the new players that are playing for Lincoln and Coach Grinch.
For sure. All righty. Well, you guys have a good night or good rest of your week, and then we'll see you Thursday.